Is this a good angle for me? Wow, so Disney look. It's so natural. Can't even tell. Hello friends! It's Carol. Today I'm going to tell you how I got my internship at Disney, which eventually led to me getting a job at Disney. So literally for as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be an artist. I think since elementary school I was just kind of like, Figaro! Ever since elementary school I was just always the one coloring, and I was super interested in the art classes. Like, it was always my favorite time of day. So carried that into middle school, and then eventually in high school I just really loved art, but I wanted to figure out how to turn it into a career because apparently you can't get paid very much for being an artist. I mean, you can get paid a lot, but you have to be really talented, and I just knew I wasn't that talented of a drawer or painter. I could definitely do that, like I have some skill in it, but not enough to it carry me throughout life. In high school, I actually went to a really large high school, so we had graphic design classes. So I think it was sophomore or junior year, I kind of like started taking them and messing around with digital art, and found out that I just really loved it, and I loved like creating logos and branding and packaging, and it was all just super new and super interesting. Graphic design when I was in high school was still kind of like an emerging career. It wasn't a new thing in general, it's been around forever, but it was like something that people were starting to accept as a real career in the arts. And what? He's so needy. I entered a competition to make a t-shirt for like a baseball group called the Miracle League. So I made a t-shirt design, and looking back on it now, it's so awful, but I thought it was amazing. So I won the contest and I got $100. I literally thought I was the coolest person ever. But I got $100, and I got $100 donated to my school as well for our art program, which was really cool. So I think I was so driven by success at that point that winning that contest, I was like, oh, I could do graphic design, like I guess I'm good at this. I should make it my career. Can you not? So going into college, I knew I was interested in graphic design, and it's kind of what I wanted to make my decision on schools based on, because I was just really loving it and wanted to build my skills even more. So I needed to find a school that had like a really great program for that. I looked at SCAD and some other art design schools, and of course their programs were really amazing, but I eventually chose Anderson University because they also were a Baptist school, so they offered me Jesus and graphic design, so that was kind of like the perfect deciding factor for me. And my university had an amazing program and amazing professors and small size classrooms, and I know they're smaller than an art schools would have been, so you were able to get a lot more attention from your professors, and they were really driven to help you find a career. So that was a big thing for our schools. Our professors really wanted to help us find jobs after graduation, which was awesome. I always kind of had this childhood dream of Disney, which a lot of people do, of like, oh, it's such an amazing place to work, it's so magical, everyone's so happy there. So I was lost in that kind of cloud of magic. So I was like, I'm gonna get a job there and I'm gonna work for Disney. It's gonna happen. So I knew about the college program, and that's where you can apply to work for Disney for a semester during college and go and work in the parks, like in an attractions role or food and beverage or something like that. What I didn't know was available was the Disney Internships program, or professional internships is what it's technically called. The professional internships program is something you do right after graduation, and it's a 6-month long program that can be extended another 6 months to become a full year. Once I found out about that, I was really intrigued because I didn't want to take a semester off of my schooling process to go work for Disney and just like an attractions role. And I know a lot of people do that, which is great, and please do it, but it just wasn't the right thing for me timing wise. So now that I had this dream of the internship process in mind, I kind of tailored my portfolio to make sure that I had a lot of variety and a lot of different type of design because I had no idea what kind of job I would be applying to or looking for. So I really just tried to explore every type of art in the graphics world that I could. I think that's one important thing you should focus on when applying to a Disney art position. I know for graphic design, like make sure you have website, make sure you have branding, packaging examples, completely like a rebrand. I think that's the best thing you can do is just complete a bunch of fake projects to make sure you're getting exposure in all the different types of areas of design. So once I found out about the internship program and I was tailoring my portfolio and working on it, the time came to apply. I had absolutely no connections. I didn't know anybody working there. I just went to disneycareers.com, and on that site I just literally typed in the search bar graphic design internships, and there's like a little checkbox in the search bar where you can check off professional internships, not full-time roles. So that's what I did and put in graphic design as a second search criteria. And there were so many, like a lot more than I thought, but I had to make sure that they were in Florida because that's the area I was looking to go in, and then also that they were 6 months long at least, because some are shorter and some, no, there's none that are longer, just shorter. So I found a couple that I really was interested in, so I applied to 5 graphic design specific internships. And I only applied to graphic design because it's what I was best at, and I really didn't want to apply to anything that I would kind of half love or not be so great at. Like, I wanted to make sure I would be confident interviewing for whatever position I applied for. So after applying for the 5, I think I did that in, let's see, I was going to graduate in May, so I needed a job by then. I think I applied in January is when the applications go on the Disney career site for the May internship starting date. So I applied to those 5 in January, and I would say maybe a month later is when I got 3 emails. They weren't good emails. They were so the 2 of the emails stated this position has been discontinued or closed, which means that they hired someone else for the position already. And then one of the emails said, sorry, but like unfortunately you didn't qualify for this position, which just means they didn't want me, which is fine. And then maybe 2 weeks after that, I got another email, and it said, hi, like I would really like to schedule a screening interview with you. And I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, I got an interview. So you have to do, it was a 15-minute screening interview by a recruiter. So it wasn't anything specific to the position I had applied for. I actually didn't even know which of the 2 left that I had applied for was reaching out to me. So basically the recruiter will reach out to you first and do the screening interview, and it's for all positions you applied for. Like, they're not job specific at all. And she was super nice. I was terrified. I was actually late to one of my college classes because of the interview. One of the times that was only available was like overlapped with my class, but it was a photography class and my professor was super chill, so I was like, hey, I have something to do. So I had the screen interview with her, and she was just like so sweet to me. She could tell how nervous I sounded, and she was like, don't worry about it, like just be yourself, and then started asking me all these questions. Most of them were situational questions. I think for the screening interviews, they really just want to know what your personality is like, and they really just want to know what your personality is like and kind of get a feel for you, make sure you're not a psycho, which I mean I am, so gotcha. I have no idea what the questions were because that was over 2 years ago now, but they were kind of just your basic interview questions, nothing to be scared about, just answer honestly about how you feel. Most of them are like team questions, like how you're going to work with others. Some are about your background, some are about like how do you feel if this happened, you know, just stuff like that. So it went really well, and she said like, okay, I'll get back to you in a couple weeks and let you know how it went and see what I can connect you with. So I was like, okay, like, hurry though. But not really, I didn't really say that. I was so anxious and excited. So I thought the interview went really well, and I hung up the phone feeling just like really excited for what could happen. So I think maybe it was 2 weeks more after that. So I was like dying, because 2 weeks is forever when you've had your first interview. You're like waiting and waiting. Like, when are they gonna contact me? Am I just not hired? Am I not good enough? All these thoughts that are just not true. So don't psych yourself out. It takes a while. So then the 2 weeks later, I received an email, and it was from my recruiter, the one I had the phone screening with, and she said, hey, I have this team for this position that you've applied for. And it was one of the 2 that I had left. And she said the team would love to have a Skype interview with you if that's all right. And I was like, yes, that is perfectly amazing. Let's do it. Yeah, no, that's not what I said. I was like, yes, please. I would really enjoy that. Please connect me with the team and I will have a Skype interview with them. So if the phone call was not terrifying enough, then I had to have the Skype interview with a potential team that I could be working with in the future. So I was freaking out. I was staying in a house, renting a house with 2 other friends in college, and so I like rearranged my room just so the window light would come on my face, and I like moved my desk around and propped my like laptop camera up and everything. It was very, very extra. But my interview went really well. I loved all the team members. They were so sweet. And the thing about this interview was, so basically art positions are filled mainly on your portfolio skill. It's kind of judged on what does your stuff look like and does it apply to this position, and then it's kind of personality, like will you fit in here, are you like Disney personality. So during the interview they did reference some things in my portfolio, and they asked me specific questions about some things that they liked or were curious about, like, what was your idea for this packaging? It's such a cool idea. Can you tell us more about it? Which was really cool, because I know a lot about my work, so it was really easy to answer those questions, and it felt so natural and fun, and we kind of already had the same humor level, and it was great. I really loved interacting with them and had such a good feeling about the whole interview. That interview, I think, was 45 minutes to an hour. I would say not more than an hour. It was definitely less than an hour. But it went by so fast because I just loved talking to them, and it felt so easy and natural. So they said, so nice to meet you, like awesome talking to you. We'll get back to you in a couple of days. We have a couple more people to interview, but then we will let you know. And I was like, a couple of days? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I just felt so good leaving the interview. Like, I don't know, I love the team, and I felt like I answered the questions really well, and I was feeling confident. So it was actually the day after that Skype interview, I got a call from one of the people in my Skype interview, like one of the women sitting at the table, and she called me and said, hey, Caroline, just checking in, like seeing how you're doing, how you felt about the interview, and kind of what your thoughts are. And I was like, I did not know what to say to that. So I was like, oh, I just loved it so much. Thank you. You guys were so awesome. I'm really interested in the position. Like, I would love to have it. I think I would be a great fit on your team, and so on and so forth. And she was like, oh, okay, great. That's so awesome to hear. Like, we really liked you too. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. And I was like, that was a great phone call. Like, what does that mean? Is that, yay, we're gonna hire you maybe? Or she just wanted to like check in and see like if I even wanted it or not, which was awesome. So the day after that, it was maybe like 6 p.m. and I had just eaten in the caf, as we call it. It was the cafeteria. It's great. So I had just eaten, and I was walking with my one of my best friends to my photography class, because we were in that class together, and my phone rings, and it is a California number. So I was like, I gotta answer this. I like started getting flushed and like all the blood rushing to me, like, I think I know what this is, like, please, 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 please. So I answered the phone, and I was like, hello, this is Caroline. And it was actually the recruiter from the recruiter screening that I have, and she said like, hey, how are you, da da da. She was like just talking to me about all this legal stuff. There was no like offer of the position. She was just asking me all these questions like, if you were an intern, would you have transportation? Would you be living in the housing? All this and that. And I was like, oh, okay, these are just questions like if I do get hired that they need to know. So it was just like answering. This was going on for maybe like 10 minutes asking these legal questions, and then when she was finished asking all the questions, she asked me one more question. She said, well, Caroline, I would just like to offer you the position of the graphic designer intern with corporate alliances. I was like freaking out. I was so excited. I actually started crying, and my best friend was standing beside me. So I was like tearing up, and she could see that I was like freaking out, and so she was like, did you get it? Like, you got it? And I was like, I got it. And she was like, wow. We were like screaming in silence because I was still on the phone. And the recruiter could hear me like being excited, and she was like, you can scream if you want to. And so I was like, okay. So I was on campus, and I like started screaming, and my friends started screaming, and everyone around us was like, what is going on over there? And it was just, I was so excited. I could not even believe it. Right after that, I was like, thank you so much. This is great. Like, yes, of course I accept. I'm so emotional. And the recruiter was so sweet. She was so happy for me. They're just so personal. And she was like, I knew you would get it. Like, you're so great. You're going to fit in really well here. And I was like, thank you so much. So then after I hung up, I like called all of my family members and all my other best friends, and I was like, guess what? And they were all freaking out, and it was unreal, a complete dream come true. And that was probably timing wise in April is when I got offered that job. And then it was 2 months after that I moved to Disney at June 7th and started my position on June 12th. So it was amazing. And I can do another video to you guys talking about my internship experience and kind of what I do for corporate alliances, since I'm actually full-time there now. I did my internship for a little over 6 months. I started my internship in June of 2017, 2 weeks after graduation. Then in December, they asked me to stay for another 6 months, which is pretty normal. If you do a great job in your internship, you get extended on for another 6 months until the next June. So I was a couple months into my extension, and at the end of April of 2018, they offered me a full-time salary position as a graphic designer doing the exact same thing I was doing in my internship, and it was the most perfect thing ever. Of course I said yes because I love my job so much, and I love my team, and my leader is amazing, and just everyone. It's just so easy to say yes all the time. And that's kind of where I am now. It's January of 2019, so I'm about to hit the official 1-year mark of being full-time, and that's really exciting. I'm gonna get my little 1-year pin, so I'm all official on my name tag, so I can't wait for that. I'm probably going to be doing a Q&A on my Instagram soon of questions you guys want to know about my position and my internship, and then I'll do another video on that. So follow me at Caroline G. Hopper at Instagram, and you can participate in that as well. So yeah, I hope this helps you out a little bit. If you're in graphic design or the arts or interested, or even if you just want to know how the internship process works compared to the college program, I hope this was a little bit helpful to you, and it's an amazing process, and just go into it being completely yourself, and you will definitely shine, and they'll see that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing week and an amazing day, night, morning, meal, coffee. You know, please make sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy and want to see more of my videos, and also leave a like as it helps me grow as a channel. Appreciate ya. No, I'm not doing that again. See you guys in the next one.